All right, welcome back to the Cloud Monkey room. I appreciate just before lunch, so please have some more attention. And I'd like to introduce you to Richard, who's going to be talking about monetizing CloudStack with CloudOps software. Richard.
Thank you. So, thank you. Appreciate it. It's a difficult time just before lunch. Everyone's stomachs are rumbling, but I'll try not to go on too much. For those of you who are old and infirm, a bit like me, I've tried not to use any fonts that are too small or any diagrams that are really intricate. So hopefully it will be relatively light, a relatively light session. First of all, a little bit about me. That first line, over 30 years in software development and IT management. I know what you're thinking. God, you've had a hard life, Richard. The reality is I started off as a software developer, and my first job was in software development, and then I've progressed through IT management to IT directorship, and now I'm the VP and GM of software at Aptum. Joined Aptum when it was originally Peer 1 hosting back in 2013, so been with the company quite a long time, and we've been through various iterations since then. But I've also been CTO at major UK MSPs, and I'm really passionate about making sure that customer service that we offer is great and that we make sure we've got products that are relevant in the market. I know another thing you're probably thinking is, Richard, you're wearing a CloudOps hoodie, but you're here representing Aptum. What's the deal? So Aptum has this mantra, which is trying to make sure that our customers own their own destiny in the cloud. And that's really important for us, just to make sure that, with so much going on in the market, to make sure that no one gets penned in, no one's forced to use the, one solution. And I think that fits pretty well with the CloudStack community, which is pretty open and pretty sharing, and it is a community-based product. Aptum, as I mentioned, started off as Peer 1 hosting, a hosting company with data centers globally, mainly in the UK, US, and Canada, which means that we've got very strong networking capabilities, very strong data center capabilities. We've got teams all over the place doing that sort of stuff. We've still got that to this day. But what we realized was, probably 10, 15 years ago, the market was starting to pivot towards hyperscalers. And so we took the conscious decision to move the business and to extend our business so that we started to cater for customers that wanted to go towards the hyperscalers, as well as continue to provide our hosting services. So our organization has sort of expanded, and at one stage we took on fiber in the ground in Montreal and Toronto as well, but we've subsequently divested that, and we're focused in again now on our data centers and providing managed services really to our customers, and we offer managed services on Azure, AWS, GCP, and as well private cloud solutions in our data centers. As I say, we want our customers to own their destiny in the cloud, and we believe in empowering our customers and our users with the freedom to shape their own technological future, and we're passionate about freedom of choice. And hopefully that's come out in my short intro there. So again, you're probably still asking, why the hell are Aptum here? Because actually, you've spoken a lot about managed services, you've spoken a lot about hyperscalers and networking capabilities and data centers. But the reality is we had a problem. And the problem really was with our data centers, with our private cloud solutions, with our virtual private cloud solutions, and with the colo that we're offering from our data center. Having expanded then to offer AWS and GCP and Azure services, we got very embedded with Microsoft, and to the point that we became Azure expert MSPs. There are only about 100 of those globally, and we're one of them. And we offer managed services and professional services on all of those. And what we found was, as an organisation our size, it became increasingly difficult to support all of those with the depth that we needed to give a really good customer service of expertise in all of those different technologies. There are similarities, but in order to provide really good and solid customer service, we had to maintain a deep bench of expertise in AWS, GCP, and Azure, as well as all the different private cloud solutions, one of which that we offer is CloudStack based. Obviously, we do VMware and all of those as well, but yeah. And another challenge that we had, apart from having to maintain the expertise, was that trying to monetize these things can get increasingly complicated. And whilst it's fairly obvious how to monetize Azure and AWS and GCP, because effectively they set the prices and you just recharge those guys, when it comes to private cloud solutions, it gets a lot more complicated. And you end up having to try and find a way to create your products, assign costs, assign prices, and then track utilization throughout the course of the month so that you can then produce an invoice at the end of the month to send to the customer. That was a challenge that we had. When you combine that with the challenge of charging managed services rates and professional services rates alongside that, it was a challenge for us to bill our customers and give our customers visibility on where their charges were coming from, particularly for the private cloud solutions, again, one of those being CloudStack. So our customers weren't getting the great customer experience that we wanted to provide. And so we started going out looking for a solution that would solve some of these problems for us. It was complicated slightly by the fact that some of our customers are MSPs themselves, and they want to go on and they want to bill their customers. And I think this is a fairly common scenario. And you end up having to sort of have these different layers where you need, each of the different layer needs to have the ability to be able to add their own products and create their own products and then monetize those and create those. And we refer to that as the multi-layer, multi-tenancy problem. And it applies actually for lots of Aptum's customers, for all of the hyperscalers really, and all of the private cloud solutions. So we were looking for a solution that not just allowed us to monetize our solutions to our customers, but also for our customers to be able to monetize their solutions to their customers. And it got further complicated by the fact that we realized that internally within Aptum, we use all of these services ourselves. And we were really struggling to try and identify which teams in which part of the organization were consuming a quantity of resources. So we also wanted a system that would provide us with the capability to do show back and charge back for all of the cloud resources that are being consumed within our organization. So you can look at this diagram and you can see that there are broadly two use cases. One is what we tend to refer to as an enterprise use case, and the other one is a service provider or managed service provider, CSP use case. So we went out to the market and we started looking around at various solutions, and we found this company in Montreal called CloudOps, and they had a really good solution that provided us with this multi-level, multi-tenant capability so that we could deliver services to not just to our customers, but to their customers. And in fact, the CloudOps software has an infinite number of levels that you can go down. So, if you've got 10 sets of customers that each have their own customers that each want to create their own products, CloudOps software can deliver that capability through multi-level, multi-tenant. At each level of that, it can be completely white labeled. So all of those customers can present this software, this single pane of glass to their customers, and it can appear as their own solution. So for our customers, it appears like they're adding value to their customers, and they are, in fact. Key for us was obviously this concept of productization. Americans in the room might dispute the spelling, but productization obviously is key. It's fairly obvious with Azure. If you go into Azure and you want to provision a D4S server, I don't know, a server maybe with, I don't know how many cores it's got these days, 4 cores probably and 32 gigs of RAM or something. It's fairly straightforward, but trying to define that within CloudStack, within VMware, within some of these private cloud solutions is really difficult. And it's not just a question of setting the parameters around the resource utilization, it's a question of assigning a cost price and a sales price to that, so that then as the utilization or the consumption happens over the course of the month, that's tracked, and then the system will then know how much to charge or cross-charge with showback, chargeback if if you're using that feature. Monetization, CloudOps software has the ability to take that utilization on a monthly basis and create an invoice for the customer. It can do batch runs of invoices and export those to billing systems, or it will even send the invoices directly out to the customers. And we'll get onto the architecture in a minute, but you'll see that it even has the capacity and the capability to be able to do collection of revenue as well through Chase Payment Tech and Stripe. And one of the great features of the software is it's highly extensible. So you're not forced to use just the features within the user interface. Everything is based on a REST API that can be incorporated into other systems, extended and so forth. It's a truly hybrid solution. So it had the capability to deal with all of the main hyperscalers, with the big private cloud providers. We've got a really mature CloudStack plugin already in existence for the CloudOps software. And so we saw these features, realized that it was a great fit for Aptum, and we went out and bought the CloudOps organization, and they became part of the Aptum organization then, which hopefully explains why I'm here talking about Aptum when I'm wearing a CloudOps hoodie. So that was great. We bought the CloudOps organization. We started rolling out this solution and extending the plugins that we've got within the CloudOps software and building more maturity into them, ensuring that we had greater feature coverage than ever before. We've got some big customers that we were servicing as well with this, and we were trying to introduce the showback chargeback into the Aptum organization as well. And it's been going really well, and we've got customers, as I say, using the VMware plugin extensively. And then the Broadcom tsunami hit. And our first reaction as a data center organization was, we've got a shed load of VMware infrastructure in our data centers. This is really going to hurt us. So we, like everyone else, we rapidly started looking at consolidating that hardware. How can we make more sense of this? How can we reduce our exposure to this? But not only did we have this problem, we were trying to do this for our customers as well at the same time. And so what we found is, increasingly as a result of this Broadcom tsunami, we've started and we've got this pathway now to ever greater adoption of the CloudStack infrastructure, which is great for us because we've got in our ecosystem here, the service plugins that we've got out of the box include, as I say, a very mature CloudStack plugin, as well as the 3 major hyperscalers, VMware Cloud Director plugin. We've got native Kubernetes support as well. We've even got plugins for some S3 storage providers. And so basically anything with an API can have a plugin built for it using the plugin SDK. So we don't need to build these plugins. Other people can build the plugins. And in building those plugins and introducing them to the ecosystem, they then get access to use all of the services that are offered in the core subsystems of the CloudOps software. So things that we've spoken about regarding productization, being able to assign the costs and the prices, the monetization features, the multi-level, multi-tenant capabilities, the role-based access control, governance and logging and all of those things. This illustrates the point that I was referring to earlier. There's a single pane of glass that gives the customers access to all of this capability to monetize the CloudStack solutions. But it's all accessed via, it's effectively a manifestation of the REST API that sits below it. So it's developed as an API first, and then the single pane of glass fits on top of it. It's got inbuilt into the system role-based access control, so users can be allocated their identities and their credentials in the system. But it's also fully integrated with OpenID Connect. So if you need to connect your system for your support teams, as we do, you integrate with your corporate Active Directory system, and you can allocate individual users access to certain features. And in terms of payment and taxation, Chase Payment Tech and Stripe, we use Avalara for taxation purposes. The other thing to mention is the software is multi-language. Out of the box, we've got English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese, but it's easily extendable. You can, it's just a translation file. So very, very comprehensive. As I say, that is really the great benefit of the software, that it's so extensible. You've got the plugins. We don't have to develop the plugins. End customers can develop them for themselves, or they can pay third-party developers to do that. If there's, someone who wants an Alibaba plugin, then fill your boots, go create one. We're very customer-driven. So if customers need features from the software, we tend to be led by the features that are required by our customers and needed by the market. So we're able to deliver really pretty much what most of our customers need with what we've got, but we can easily extend that. How do we fit with CloudStack? Well, we've got a very long affiliation through Will Stevens, who just walked in at the back, who's our CTO. And we've got a deep integration with CloudStack. We've had this CloudStack plugin. We've got customers using this CloudStack plugin, been using it for years and years and years. So we've got a very close relationship. We've found that because of the Broadcom tsunami, we've got customers repatriating, not just from public cloud, but actually from private cloud solutions, and having to create new products. And so we're seeing an uptick in our use of CloudStack and the use of our software as a result of that. And as a result, organizations are making cost savings, which is great for all of our customers, obviously. They're getting a better customer experience, and their customers are getting a better customer experience as well, because they're all able to see the state of all of their estates. They're able to get analytics of their environments through our platform as well. We're beefing that up all the time and extending the capabilities there. Really, CloudStack is becoming an ever-increasing part of our portfolio. There you go. It's used both internally and externally. That's CloudStack is being used both internally and externally, as well as CloudOps software within our organization. And we're even considering within our data centers making some development resources available for CloudStack developers. If there was a need for that, we've been having active discussions about actually making development resources available within our data centers for people who are wanting to participate in the community and contribute towards the project. That would be, going back to the fireside chat that went on last presentation of yesterday, that would be one way that we would like to see ourselves contributing to the community, is supporting the community in that way. We've got a full roadmap of features in the CloudOps software that we're actively working on in response to customer requests, and features that we see out in the market and developments in the marketplace that we're trying to respond to. One of those features is FinOps, and that's becoming an increasing part of the roadmap for us and the features that we're developing. Financial operations. There's a FinOps.org organization based on, they're affiliated with the Linux Foundation. So it's an attempt to standardize the reporting processes that go through to organizations so they can better understand their cloud spend generally. So by trying to introduce, a FinOps sort of standard approach to presenting information, it's really a way of reporting the cloud utilization to internal organizations. And really, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions. If they have, will be happy to answer.
I have a question.
Okay.
So yeah, great to see you back actually, and great to see many people coming back at CloudStack, looking back at it and actually showing that you've been using it all this time. So, I mean, obviously, as far as monetization, I would assume you are consuming the usage reports and usage server.
Yeah.
So, where do you see? Probably will take this out. Where do you see CloudStack improving the usage server with your needs and your customer experiences with it? So, is there anything?
Are you providing usage data for Kubernetes?
Right.
That would be great to have.
Okay.
That would enable us to be able to provide pricing against the Kubernetes usage within CloudStack as well, as a different layer.
Great. So great feedback. Cool. All right. Any other questions?
What is the price?
Yeah.
Well, so the price varies depending on how much you're going to use it, what the scale of your organization was or is. I mean, we would probably want to have a chat with you about how you're intending to use it, because different pricing models will vary depending on how you're going to use it. But we've got something for everybody, really, a pricing model that's suitable for everybody. So, if you want a demo, then we can certainly sort you out with a demo, and maybe lead on to those other conversations later. Just come and grab us either at the desk or look us up on LinkedIn, and we'll get in touch and arrange a demo subsequently. Will did actually do a demo yesterday, but was struggling a bit with bandwidth. So, if you
I can do demos whenever.
Yeah.
So if you want to just come, I can also show you. Yeah.
So how is it licensed? Maybe not the pricing, but the licensing.
So we've got, there are a couple of models that we've got. We've got a regional commit model, which is effectively an all-you-can-eat model that it gives you unlimited access to all of the plugins that you might need out of the box that we've got. It's completely unrestricted in terms of how much usage you put through it. And then we've got for managed service providers like Aptum, really, we've got a utility model, which is a fairly low barrier to entry, which then would scale depending on how much utilization you put through, and that's tiered utilization. And then we've got, as we introduce more and more modules, so as we build out more FinOps, there'll be licensing for that in the utility model as well. And so there'll be sort of add-ons and things that you start having to pay for if you want those features, if you're in that utility model rather than being in the regional commit model.
Yeah, we try to make sure that we are matching the way that the business is going to be successful who's using it, right? And so if you plan to use a ton of plugins, then it's likely that a regional model makes sense. If you're only going to be using the CloudStack plugin, for example, then you might want to pay for only the CloudStack plugin, and then you can expand that to as many regions as you want. So we really try to be flexible to make sure that we are licensing based on a way that's going to be viable for your business to be successful with that licensing.
Yeah, I think.
Flexible. We really want to be able to align with what's going to make sense for your business.
And that aligns with our mantra, which is own your destiny in the cloud, right? Because if we don't want you to have to feel like you've got to use all the plugins and have all of that stuff if you don't really need it. So we want you to sort of own what you need to own and no more and no less.
All right.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.